Good day, classmates. Today, I have three sources to talk to you about from the places we were asked to get them: Oxford, Project Muse, and one other source. The first source is from Project Muse and is a review of Romancing the Difference by Camille Lewis. The reviewer is Phil Chidester. The methodology here is from a communication framework, and the author of the book is Camille Lewis, who was a BJU faculty and now a constant and consistent critic of the university. Uh, Chidester says that the university is controversial, and another word he uses, despised. And this may be a stretch, but you can make your own assessment of that, I suppose. So Camille Lewis argues in this book that the university uses a romantic sentiment to encourage others to think of what they're doing as right and excellent. The first example is from the university's art gallery, and this definitely cannot be denied as a beautiful gallery. But as she continues to argue, Chidester says, and I agree, that her argument does fall apart. This article or book review and book comes from the era of Bob Jones III when he was president. The second source is a journal article by Robin Robinson called Morality and Money on the Border. This came from the BJU archives, and I have to thank the archivist for help with this one. It's a historical article that talks about the evangelist campaign of Bob Jones Sr. before the university was founded, and it shows how there's a relationship between salvation and moral things, social ills here. Jones preached against dancing, drinking, and gambling, and he was trying to get the border closed, the bridge closed between El Paso and Juarez. And he was almost successful and did create a unity between the churches and morality in the area. The third and final source is a chapter from God's Own Party called The Emergence of a Fundamentalist Right by Daniel Williams. This is from Oxford. And this shows how fundamentalists of the 50s and 60s tried to encourage racial segregation, but also put down socialism. Bob Jones Jr. is one of the examples in the chapter. He talks about his love for film and theater, which was strange for fundamentalists of that day, but also talks about his political activism. He was a good example of what Mr. Williams is trying, or Dr. Williams is trying to talk about in this book and in this chapter specifically. He talks about Jones and how he had even a conference for foreign diplomats that were against communism, how he supported Dwight Eisenhower even though he was a centrist, and also talks about how he linked arms with Representative Mendel Rivers, who was an ultra segregationalist, and that's how in the 60s Jones became on his political activism. All these sources, if taken chronologically, show a picture of Bob Jones, the Bob Jones family, Bob Jones University, from senior down to Bob Jones III. Thank you for listening.